Welcome back to Bloom. Did you know the local Red Cross offers classes on first aid, safety, and CPR? We visit the Tampa chapter to find out more. If someone went into cardiac arrest in front of you, would you know what to do? Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S. We visited a CPR class at the American Red Cross in Tampa to find out the life-saving benefits of this surprisingly simple technique. We're here with Scott Oster, who's in Strategic Accounts at the Red Cross. Thank you for having us, Scott.
Thank you.
So I want to know, how important is CPR education?
CPR education is very important. Over 40,000 people a year die from cardiac arrest in the United States, and only about 22% actually know good quality CPR. So by taking a first aid CPR AED course with the American Red Cross, it dramatically increases by 50% somebody's ability to survive cardiac arrest.
If someone comes to American Red Cross CPR first aid class, when they leave, do they feel empowered and capable of doing the CPR on someone?
Yeah, it's really amazing. After someone takes the class, they really do feel like they have learned a skill. And it's important to have this skill because about 75% of the time, you're going to perform it on someone you know or love. So
Really?
It is important to have that skill.
Wow, okay. So tell us a little bit about the things we have behind us here.
So some of the things that additionally we provide are something like a first responder bag. So a lot of organizations will have first responder teams in their offices, and then having a first responder bag is very important.
That's really important, right?
Yeah,
okay.
So this is one of the manufacturers that we represent, which is Zoll. This is an amazing AED that also has the ability to coach you in your CPR. As you're doing the compressions, it's going to make sure you're doing them at the right speed and the right depth.
And they talk you through what you need to do, so you shouldn't be afraid of them?
Yeah, so actually this particular unit not only has a metronome or a little bouncing light with pictures, it also has the text and it speaks to you at the same time. So it's going to communicate with you at a variety of levels to try to take a very intense situation and try to keep you as calm as possible.
Now it was my turn to learn the skills needed to be prepared to save a life from CPR Red Cross Health and Safety Instructor Manny Perez.
So Manny, we know CPR saves lives. I'm a runner. If I'm out on a run and I see somebody down, walk me through what I should do.
We should check the person for response and just shout out, "Are you okay?"
Are you okay?
If he doesn't wake up to a tap and shout, have someone call 911 to get help to the scene. If you see no signs of moving and breathing, find your hand position on the chest. Lock your hands together, shoulders over hands. Use your body weight to compress the chest. Hard and fast, 100 beats a minute. 120 beats a minute is the range. Allow full recoil so blood gets into and out of the heart and circulation throughout the body. We'll continue CPR until another person arrives, equal or greater training, an AED shows up, the victim shows an obvious sign of life, or the scene becomes unsafe.
Are chest compressions enough, or do we need to do mouth to mouth?
Breaths do help, and they get oxygen back into the bloodstream. If the rescuer is unwilling or unable to do full CPR, there's no barrier available. We should do chest compressions only until an AED and a first aid kit arrive, and then we have all the materials like gloves and breathing barriers that will allow us to give full care.
Who should take CPR and first aid classes?
Everybody should. Whenever there's a workplace-related duty to respond, we should give care, but even when there's not a legal obligation, by knowing the skills necessary, we can feel confident that we're giving that victim the benefit of giving care until more advanced personnel arrive and take over.
So we think about CPR in adults, but if we're taking care and needing to help a child or an infant, how different is that process?
Not very different in terms of the overall sequences of care. It's the same amount of compressions and breaths, 30 compressions and 2 ventilations, but we'll change the way that we give those compressions. On the infant, we'll use 2 fingers in the center of the chest to compress 1.5 inches. So enough depth to create circulation, but it's still giving cycles of 30 and 2.
Is CPR certification for life, or do we need to come back and be reassessed?
Every few years the standards do change, so we want to keep the public abreast of those changes. Our certifications last for 2 years. The education science indicates that the skills will fade after a few months. So we want to make sure that when there's not a chance to in-service and practice those skills on a regular basis, that you're coming in on at least a biannual basis to recertify.
Channel 8's own Evan Donovan took part in the class and believes the life-saving skills of CPR taught by the Red Cross should be introduced to young people in the classroom.
This should be mandatory teaching in every single high school. In fact, I don't understand really why it's not, because these are life-saving techniques. Undoubtedly, you will come across a situation like this at some point in your life. And I feel like it's one of those things like changing a tire or personal finance that really we should be teaching everyone.
Well done, keep it up.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.